Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Today we're going to be comparing the Dreamcast to the original Xbox. And I'm not necessarily comparing them to which is the best, but we're just comparing them in general because, believe it or not, the Dreamcast and the original Xbox have a lot in common. I don't want to go into it now, but let's just get started with the Dreamcast.
What's hot in tech? Sega Dreamcast. Get ready for the most realistic, sonic speeding, pigskin spiking, round ball jamming, aggro skating system on the planet. There's even a built-in modem, so you can wire to the web and play anyone, cross-town or cross-country. Experience visual reality. Look for more hot topics coming soon from Pepsi, your cool source for hot.
So before I deep dive into the Dreamcast, let's just take a look at where Sega was at this point. At this point around 1997 or 1998, Sega was at a bad place. To give a basic synopsis of it, they expected the Sega Genesis to last for a long time. That wasn't going to work out, so they decided to release a new console called the Sega Saturn. They rushed the Sega Saturn launch in America. Now in Japan, the Sega Saturn did pretty decent. But at E3 to announce the Sega Saturn to America, it didn't go well.
$299.
Yeah, that was someone from PlayStation announcing a price cut for the PS1 after Sega just announced the Sega Saturn, so obviously things weren't going well at the time. And at this point, hardcore Sega fans, if there were any at the time, they weren't necessarily a fan of Sega. And at this point, they had to rely on a dream. What dream do you ask? Dreamcast. I know that was cringy, my apologies for that, but on to my next point, I guess. So when it came to the Dreamcast, Sega put a lot into the system, from the games to working with Microsoft, and then the VMU. Believe me, the VMU deserves its own video, but I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the development of the Dreamcast. Now, like today, there's leaks, rumors, stuff like that. And I think the project name for the Dreamcast was called Katana, and that is a badass name. Now, on the hardware side, while the Dreamcast was being developed on two different sides of the world, Sega Japan wanted to work with the same technology that was in the Saturn. However, in Sega America, they wanted to work with 3D effects. Now, 3D effects in the 90s worked with some of the best arcade titles. So as you can imagine, it was somewhat of a competition at the time. But unfortunately, when 3D effects went public in the stock market, they had to announce what they were doing with the Sega Dreamcast, which wasn't even announced yet. So obviously, 3D effects and Sega ended their contract, and they went with the Hitachi CPU for the Dreamcast. Now, my apologies if I got anything wrong. I'm just researching and make sure I have my facts straight about the Dreamcast and its whole development cycle. I'm just trying to make sure I have everything right, but my apologies if I said anything wrong. Now, back when the Sega Genesis was popular, and even the Sega Saturn, they supported the hell out of Sega, releasing all their games on Sega hardware. But unfortunately, because of the 3D effects thing, EA sort of cut themselves off from Sega. Fortunately, though, Sega came up with their own sports titles. It was called the 2K series. It isn't the 2K series that we see today, but it was sort of its own different thing, I guess. To be honest, though, the Sega Dreamcast had a lot of problems, but it's still a great system today. Just look at how different the games were on the Dreamcast, like, take Jet Set Radio, for example. That couldn't exist on any other system besides the Dreamcast. Another game, look at Shenmue. That was basically Grand Theft Auto before Grand Theft Auto 3. And of course, Sega had their own racing series. They had Sega GT. All the games on our Dreamcast were different, and I like that. Everything on the Dreamcast just seems original. Unfortunately, though, the Sega Dreamcast released at a bad time. You see, the Dreamcast was designed to go against the PS1 and the N64. Unfortunately, their competitors were getting ready to release their new systems, even a brand new game console. Now, I'm not going to go into what exactly killed the Dreamcast, because I think we all know, it was a lot of things. It was Sega fans, it was Sega themselves, it was a brand new generation, it was just a whole new millennium, I guess. I know, another stupid joke, but, I gotta throw them in there, I guess. But yeah, I love the Dreamcast for what it is. Anyway, enough of me rambling about the Dreamcast, let's move on to the original Xbox.
It's good to compete 8,000 feet up and 8,000 miles apart together. It's good to try a frontside 7 stalefish to improve your worldwide rank together. It's good to laugh at gravity together. Amp 2. Rated E for everyone. It's good to play together.
Now, if you've been on my channel long enough, the original Xbox doesn't need any introduction. At the time, Microsoft was brand new to the gaming space. They kind of took a risk with the original Xbox. I mean, there was already competitors out there, Sega just left, so it was the perfect time to step in. Now, something I will give the original Xbox was it thought of online play before anybody else. It was sort of made to play online. It was available to the average person. Just get a subscription and you're all set to play OG Xbox Online. Online gaming to Sony and even Nintendo was secondary. Well, at least at the time, but I'd say one thing that helped the original Xbox, but I don't necessarily agree with, was buying out Rare. Rare, they only put out 2 games on the original Xbox. It was Grabbed by the Ghoulies and Conquer 11 Reloaded. Now, those were good games, but, where are they now? What are they doing? What are they creating? Hopefully a Conker's Bad Fur Day remake, that'd be good. And of course, another game that helped out the original Xbox was Halo. Another point I would like to make is, again, even if you didn't have online back then, you still had System Link, you had LAN parties, it was cool back then. Like I said in the very beginning of this video, the Dreamcast and the original Xbox have a lot of similarities. I mean, just take a look at the beta controllers for the original Xbox while they were designing it. As you can see, they took heavy inspiration off of the Dreamcast, and I mean, it was even meant to have a little VMU thing. Well, something similar to the VMU. Now, the next thing I want to bring up is the controllers. As you can see, both of those controllers are kind of similar. They both have 2 ports in the back for either memory cards or VMUs. They're both big, bulky. The only difference is the Dreamcast doesn't have the second joystick. And I apologize for my broken Duke controller. To be honest, I should probably get a new one, but probably not anytime soon. But yeah, these controllers are kind of similar, and I don't know, I find it cool. Also, another small fact is that the original Xbox was supposed to be backwards compatible with the Dreamcast. And let's not also forget that Sega released a lot of games for the original Xbox, like House of the Dead 3, Crazy Taxi 3, Jet Set Radio Future, Sega GT 2002, Panzer Dragoon Orta, Sonic Mega Collection Plus, Shenmue 2. I kind of think, Sega purposely, put a lot of games on the original Xbox because, it was sort of its next contender, and I personally think that the original Xbox is basically the Dreamcast 2. Now, one last comparison I would like to make is we all know Sega makes arcade games, right? And of course, to run arcade games, you're going to need some hardware. At the time, I think it was the late 90s, early 2000s, Sega arcade machines were running on the Sega Chihiro. My apologies if I pronounced that wrong. But the architecture of that same arcade system is very similar, almost exact to the original Xbox hardware. Just another small fact I don't want to put out there, I guess. Anyway, though, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, no rush, and tell me down below what do you prefer, original Xbox or Dreamcast. Either way, I'll see you guys later. Peace.